Today we're talking business mentoring with Andrea Anderson. Andrea is a volunteer business mentor within the Queensland Government's Mentoring for Growth program. We'll chat about the program, discuss what it's like to be a mentor, and talk about current business challenges and trending themes. Thank you for joining us. Hello and welcome, Andrea.
Hey.
Please give us a bit of an overview of who you are and where you're from and what your position is.
Yeah, sure. It's fantastic to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share my journey with Mentoring for Growth. So the name's Andrea Anderson. The name of my company is Your Marketing Machines. We're a marketing strategy and communications company based in East Brisbane. Mm-hmm. And I also have a sister company in Auckland, New Zealand. Essentially, as I guess sitting in the marketing strategy sphere, we are the conductor of the marketing orchestra for a lot of our clients. And primarily we're the meat and the proverbial sandwich between what the business wants to achieve, its goals, its aspirations and its desires. And then essentially we look at how we can manipulate the marketing to achieve that. Oh. So it's a bit of an undercover kind of approach that we take. Yes. But primarily it's all about supporting the businesses to achieve what is realistic for them to be able to achieve as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
So tell me a bit of a backstory about your business and why you decided to start it in the first place.
Yeah, sure. I think like most people who engage in this thing called entrepreneurship, primarily it starts with, hey, this is a great idea, let's go with it. And fundamentally for myself, my story began probably 25 years ago in New Zealand, where I went out on my own as a consultant. Such a dirty word nowadays. But went out on my own as a consultant primarily in HR and business. Okay. And had a colleague of mine who asked me to come in and to essentially do a business audit on her company, more so looking at from an operational, a growth perspective, not necessarily from a financial audit viewpoint. Put together my report 3 months later, and then she said, why don't you come and join me and let's challenge the world together. So that was a 7-year journey, and there was a lot that we learned in that time about ourselves being business owners and decision makers. And it's unfortunate. It's something that university or even school doesn't teach you. Nobody teaches you what it's like to be an entrepreneur. Nobody teaches you what it's like to go from being an employee to suddenly being an employer and having these things called humans working for you and the dynamic that goes with that. Yeah. So I've owned a number of businesses over the last 20-something years, everything from a business education, a mentoring company, catering company, Christian T-shirt company. That one lost me the most money, I think. I also had a manufacturing company, did a lot of import-exporting from Southeast Asia into Australasia. And somehow, I don't know really what happened with the marketing company, but I arrived into Perth in 2013, was a general manager for a very large marketing solutions company that catered for all across Australasia and Southeast Asia, and saw the back end, I guess, of what marketing is actually all about. It's not what you see on the front. It's actually what happens behind the scenes. Yes. And I realised that the way that most marketing agencies work isn't necessarily supportive for the business's growth and what they're realistically wanting to achieve. So I always said that if I owned a marketing company, and be careful what you wish for, primarily this is where we would, I guess, reverse engineer and take it more through the eyes of the business owner and looking at whether the goals and the aspirations, first and foremost, that the business owner wants to achieve is realistic, understanding that, then looking at how we position that particular business in the marketplace to dominate.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How exciting.
It's been fun.
Great stuff. Okay, so tell me about the Mentoring for Growth program.
Absolutely. What do you want to know?
All the things.
It's amazing. Fell into the Mentoring for Growth program, I think it was 2018. I was invited along by a staff member of Desbit at the time who said, hey, look, I think it'd be really good for you to come along and have a look at what the Mentoring for Growth program's all about. Because I was like, what is it? Yes. And what I found was actually an incredible environment for businesses to come and to share some of their challenges, some of their questions, but more importantly, to have that in a group where the environment was a safe environment for you to communicate openly.
Amazing, yes.
And frankly, about what was going on for your business. Now, what I found really fascinating was not only the businesses themselves, which that's a great conversation on its own, but the calibre of the mentors around the room with that particular business. And there was some incredible expertise on offer. And I was like, wow, where was this when I was making all the mistakes in my business for me? So the Mentoring for Growth program, from my perspective, is designed primarily for all entrepreneurs throughout Queensland who are seeking some form of guidance, because that's really all it is, guidance in regards to how their business is currently operating, and also to understand and determine whether the goals and aspirations they have for their business is actually doable, and if so, how so.
Yeah, amazing, wonderful. And as you said earlier, with the you're not taught how to be an entrepreneur.
No.
You don't get given those skill set in school.
Yeah.
So to be surrounded by people that are able to encourage that and help you
Correct.
grow that skill set is amazing.
And what I find too is inside the Mentoring for Growth program, the mentors are desiring to share their expertise.
Yes.
It's not like you've got to try and pull it out of them.
No.
And most of the time, you can't even shut them up.
Yes.
Because they've got so much incredible knowledge to share, and they genuinely want people to succeed. And that's the thing that I find exciting with the Mentoring for Growth program.
It's wonderful. So what can a business owner expect from a Mentoring for Growth session?
Wow, that's a big one. I think the first thing here is be prepared for varying degrees of opinions.
Which is also good.
Which is also very
Yes.
good. In most instances, in a lot of the rooms that I've sat in with, it's been rather complimentary. And I think a lot of that comes from the mentors having mutual respect for each other, which I think is real key.
Yes.
Because then you don't create they said this and you're saying that scenario, but rather we're very much about working collaboratively for the benefit of the business owner. So for the mentee coming into the room, be prepared. Be prepared. Have your numbers. Know your numbers inside and out. So know what your budgets are, know what your forecasts are, know your P&Ls. Super important, because that's definitely going to be one of the questions that comes up, irrespective of what you think your concerns may be. The second key here is be prepared around really knowing your competition in the marketplace. Understand who your competitors are, what they're doing, and what you believe is working for them and what isn't working for them. And the third key thing to be prepared for, and that is knowing that you're speaking to experts, but you're also speaking to business owners. So they're going to understand and appreciate some of the challenges you're currently experiencing right now. So be open to receiving the kind of feedback that's not only for the business, but also for you personally.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And also perhaps also having a bit of an idea of your strategic direction. Where do you want to go? Do you have a business plan? Mentors love that as well,
Yeah, look, it is one of the questions for us, but it's more so not necessarily whether you have one or not, but it's whether you're prepared to go down the pathway of creating one.
Having that direction.
So it's more about your commitment to your own business. If you've thought about it or you've even put something down on paper, even if it's a one-page business plan, that's better than having nothing at all, because what it does show to the mentors is that you've got a commitment to even considering what the growth may be for your business. Yeah, so it's a load of fun stuff that we talk about in those sessions.
What stage should a business engage with the program?
The greatest success that I've seen in the Mentoring for Growth program has been for businesses that have been around for at least 12 months. And the reason for 12 months, and it's got to be a full-time business. It's one thing to have a hobby and to have something on the side that you're sort of kind of starting while you've got a full-time job. That's great. But the Mentoring for Growth program is incredibly beneficial if you've been in your business full-time for 12 months.
Okay.
Why do I say that? Normally because you've got rungs on the board, you've had some level of success. On the flip side, you've also had a level of failure, which is equally just as important. We need to learn more from our mistakes and understand the value of the mistakes than we do from the successes. Also, when you look at the calibre of the mentors you have available to you, these are people that have been in business for as long as I have been, 20, 25 years, you name it. We've been through it all. We've seen it. We've experienced all the highs, the lows, the peaks, the troughs. We've gone through the GFC. We've gone through COVID, and somehow we've managed to survive out the end of it. So there's a wealth of knowledge and a high quality level of knowledge that's available to you. It's one thing to have a conversation with a startup business, which is a very different conversation to be having, than to have a conversation with a business that's been in the trenches for at least 12 months.
Okay, wonderful. Are there any common themes and business growth challenges that have come up for you during your Mentoring for Growth sessions that you've been on?
For the clients, for the mentees?
Yes.
The biggest one has been taking that next step from being self-employed to being employed, to being an employer. That one there is probably one of the biggest challenges, because that is one of the first steps to what we classify as real growth, is when you go from being just you and me, myself and I and your little business to suddenly actually having to look at employing somebody, whether it's on a part-time or a full-time basis. That one's been really interesting, because what they've realised is that they're at a capacity level themselves and that they need to bring on that extra skill set. Now, as we know, with employment, there comes some challenges that comes with being an employer, and we know that the legislation around employment has shifted and changed quite dramatically. So I see that as really being a big issue that comes up, even if it's not directly, indirectly from the conversation.
Of course, yes.
The second one that we've seen come through, which is common, and that is the growth nature or the expansion of the business. How do we expand? Whether it's expanding into new markets, whether it's expanding into new products, or even diversifying their businesses. So that's been the second one we've seen. And the third one is financials.
Financials.
Yeah, understanding where their money is going. And looking at their profit and loss and how to actually read the P&L. I'm amazed at how many businesses do not know how to read a P&L report.
There's a lot.
Which is really sad, considering that you need to understand your numbers to determine whether you are being successful in your business or not. And then the fourth, and the biggest, marketing.
It is a big one.
It's huge.
Yes.
And there's so many different strategies that you can execute. There's so many different plans you can put in place. There's so many different avenues available to you in marketing that it can be quite the, quite the minefield if you're not too careful.
So would you say the reason why it's a high reoccurring theme is because of how overwhelming it is?
Absolutely.
Is that because of social media, or...?
I think what's happened is, for those of us who've been around since Adam was a wee boy, pre-digital, right, there was always different marketing mediums, sales strategies and advertising platforms available. When social media came on in 2006, 2007, really in its, at its peak of being introduced, it opened up this completely new an incredible platform on how we can communicate and how we can connect and collaborate. What's happened in some cases is that it's been seen as the place to go. However, one thing I do talk quite often about with a lot of businesses, and that is be aware that every platform, whether it's offline, whether it's online, for marketing has both advantages and disadvantages. The key is understanding what's relevant to your business and to what your business is attempting to achieve. So there's always a lot of conversations around marketing, and it's interesting because I know that inside Mentoring for Growth, one of the reasons why I came on board as a mentor was to be a part of that marketing collective that could support businesses.
Wonderful. So how does your own business experience shape your approach to supporting the Queensland businesses and contributing, therefore, to their success?
Yeah, great question, actually. Like every business, we're constantly evolving.
Yes.
And as a marketing strategy and comms company, what we've done over the years is it started off as me. I then bought humans. So I had a big team of us, which was fantastic and amazing. And now what's happened is I've actually, like most businesses, I've shrunk as well and returned back to really what was important to me, what's the ethos and the philosophy of my company and how we want to operate. And instead, much like Mentoring for Growth, where you surround yourself with incredible experts, I've been fortunate enough to do the same in my own company, where I actually have a team of experts that work in with me from a project-to-project basis. So my business model has also shifted and changed and evolved. And I feel you have to, because if we're going to put ourselves in a position of mentoring, then we need to be willing to show that we're growing and evolving as well. That it's a practice fabulous. What we preach.
Yeah, wonderful. So how can business owners get in touch with a Mentoring for Growth mentor and book a session?
Definitely go through the website. And I'm pretty sure somebody will know what that website is.
www.business.qld.gov.au.
Perfect. There you go. Definitely go through the website and register your interest.
Yes.
You have the opportunity, I believe, to do this twice a year. And it's such an exciting experience for the mentee to go through, but it's equally as exciting for the mentor.
Yes.
We're always fascinated by the kind of businesses we're going to have the opportunity and the privilege to sit down and connect with.
Yes.
So there's definitely, I guess, an avenue there for businesses to just check in.
Yeah. And having the follow-up session and being offered that several months down the track, I think can really hold a business accountable to the actions that they said that they would do and what they've been recommended to them during their session, and come back and do a check-in point as well. So I think that's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. And what we find as mentors is that when somebody has executed what potentially we've suggested or advised and it's come back and it's worked,
hooray!
It's like, seriously, we do a little celebration dance ourselves because it's like, yes, okay, they trusted in us. And that's the big thing too. Got to remember that for mentees and their businesses, to a degree, they're entrusting in us mentors. So as mentors, we need to be equally conscious of the recommendations we're giving, because are those recommendations things that we would be prepared to execute in our business?
Yeah. So then you have an investment too, right?
Huge, absolutely, even if it's just from across the Zoom.
Yeah, how amazing. And it's a free program.
Totally, it's free. Why wouldn't you do it? It's Queensland government. Why wouldn't you do it?
And if someone out there is listening and wants to become a mentor themselves, what's that process like?
Oh, it's hair raising. Oh, it's like trying to do SAS on TV. No, just kidding. Look, it's quite a simple process.
Yes.
It's an application process, I believe. Twice a year, Mentoring for Growth puts a call out to see if there are people out there, businesses who would like to become a mentor. It's an application process, then it's an interview, and then I believe you sit in on a Mentoring for Growth session.
Yep.
Just to see what it's like.
Yeah.
And then they let you loose.
Yeah. Into the world.
Into the ether.
Yeah. Oh, how wonderful. And such a rewarding experience, I can imagine.
Look, for me, it's been a humbling experience to date. I came here from, I know it's from New Zealand, but I'm still from a different country. Then I came from Perth, and that's even different. And I landed here really not knowing anybody. And Mentoring for Growth program has actually helped me to create that visibility and credibility for myself and for my company as well. And for me, the Mentoring for Growth program is an opportunity to pay it forward.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Okay, and finally, any words of inspiration for those people who are looking at starting or growing a business?
Absolutely. For those of you who are looking to start a business, there are multiple amounts of opportunities available for you to either, number one, complete a business plan first and foremost, or to connect in and to communicate with experts before you get started.
Yeah.
The biggest mistake you can make is to start without a plan. It's the fastest way to failure. For the businesses who are established, this is a perfect opportunity for you to get in front of experts from varying degrees of background. Also be aware, mentees, that the mentors have extensive networks and relationships and databases that are beyond Queensland. So not only do you connect them with the mentors, but you also have the opportunity to connect them with their relationships.
Yes.
So for those established businesses who have got questions about their business, whether it's, am I on the right trajectory for growth, or should I be taking a different path, or is diversification there for me? This is the perfect place for you to be. You must come and have a chat to the mentors. You'll be amazed at the wealth of knowledge that's available to you. It takes 45 minutes of your time. And the team from Desbit are just amazing, by the way. Just a big shout out to the team from Desbit who look after the Mentoring for Growth program. They are there committed to working with you all the entire way and making the experience a positive one. So you're mad if you don't do it.
Thank you, Andrea, and thank you
welcome.
for your time today. If you enjoyed the episode, please make sure that you like and subscribe. It makes a big difference and you'll stay updated with more fantastic content focused on helping small businesses start, grow and thrive. You can find more information on what we've talked about today and subscribe to our monthly newsletter on the Business Queensland website. Thank you.